Good morning and afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Kevin Yu, and I'm the Director of Sales and Partnerships at Arista Cyber. Thank you for taking the time to join us for today's discussion on AI in operational technology. AI is rapidly transforming industrial operations, creating new opportunities to improve efficiency, reliability, predictive maintenance, and cybersecurity. At the same time, AI introduces important considerations around safety, governance, transparency, and risk. Today, we'll explore how organizations can responsibly adopt AI while maintaining the reliability and resilience that OT environments demand. We're pleased to have two excellent speakers join us today. Both bring extensive experience in industrial cybersecurity and AI, and I'm looking forward to hearing their insights. So I'll invite each of them to briefly introduce themselves before we get started. Now, Danrich, I'll hand it over to you first, and then David, over to you after that. Sound good?
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. I'm very pleased to be here on this discussion together with David. Uh, my name is Denrit Sananda. I'm the Managing Director for Arista Cyber. I have 27 years of experience predominantly on functional safety and OTICS, cybersecurity in different industry sectors. That's a little bit about myself.
Okay, David?
Yeah, so thanks, Kevin. Nice to be with you and Denrich this afternoon or morning for you guys. And yeah, so David Lee, I'm Global Head of Services at Shieldworkz. I have over probably around 16 years of experience now working within OT and ICS and within different industry verticals similar to Denrich. So hopefully I can bring some critical thinking to this conversation.
Okay, thank you both. And we have a lot to cover today, so let's jump right into our discussion. So the first question will be for Danrich and David. To start us off, I'd like to begin with one of the most important questions surrounding AI and OT. Now, one of the key concerns in OT is that AI, especially LLMs, should not be relied on for safety critical decisions. In your experience, where should organizations draw the line between AI-enabled decision support and safety certified automation?
David, you want to take it or I can go first?
Please go first, Rich, and then I can add some.
All right, thank you, David. Um, so, in my experience, AI should always be a support function, especially for identifying and analyzing trends, anomalies, predictive maintenance activities, summarizing alarms, or uh, giving some recommendations for certain actions. However, if when we talk about safety, it's all about people, assets, and an environment, I wouldn't recommend an AI function to take action. It will be more on the experienced operator or a certified process safety engineer to make those decisions. As we're talking about the NSA guidelines, it also clearly states, especially LLMs, they might hallucinate, they might drift, they can also have a lack of explainability and may not be reliable enough. That's why, to summarize, AI always should be treated as a decision support layer and not a safety control layer. AI may recommend, safety systems must decide and act. Over to you, David.
Yeah, thanks, Denrich. I mean, I completely echo that. Um, Being the buzzword of both IT and OT, I believe it's fairly similar actually across both domains, where particularly LLMs and all the points that you've raised should be utilized to inform decisions rather than kind of be trusted to make or become the safety case. Uh, we should always ask ourselves, is there a qualified human in control? And one of the couple of things that I'm really interested in actually on this is can those decisions that have been made be audited and explained? Because if that is not the case, then certainly that is something that kind of should almost put a stop to your questioning of the LLM. It must be audited and explained? And more importantly, is there a safe failback when the AI is wrong, essentially? Can it revert back to a known safe space? So yeah, certainly echo all the comments that you've made there, to be completely honest. And my parting words is the human must remain in control.
Thank you so much. Now the second question is for Dan Rich. Now building on that, another major challenge is ensuring AI continues to perform reliably as industrial processes evolve over time. So how should operators practically monitor and manage AI model drift in highly dynamic industrial processes?
Uh, this is an excellent question, and a thought should be given to this question. So one of the key message, again, referring back to the NSA report, is that AI models, they do not fail overnight, but there will be a drift to that AI model as the industrial processes or set points or any process parameter would change. Also, equipment ages, sensors drift, operating condition might change. And if the AI isn't continuously validated, then what would happen is its recommendation might become unreliable. And if some of the recommendations might are impacting safety or availability, that will be highly challenged. So, if you ask me, the practical approach is to treat AI like any other critical asset, which should be continuously monitored for its performance. If we can validate its recommendation against historical data, experience of the operator, SCADA trends, field instrumentation, whatever it is, we should definitely kind of take that into account. Uh, Most important part is today, as of today, we always have to keep a human in the loop for any actions, even decisions or actions that that we should take. So AI should support decision, not make any decisions. That would be one plan. And one more very important thing is we should also think about the rollback plan. If the model performance drops below certain predefined thresholds, we should revert back to a conventional automation mode or whatever the mode of that rollback plan is assigned in your SOPs. So that would be my take on this question. But it's an important question these days. So thank you for asking, Kevin.
Yeah, thanks for that, Dan Rich. So the next question is for David. Reliable AI starts with reliable data, and making data governance more important than ever in today's world. So as OT data becomes a high value target for training AI models, how should organizations rethink data governance when AI enters the OT environment?
Yeah, I mean, it is a difficult question to answer really, because there's so many ways that you could probably approach this. And if we look at big data programs, I mean, big data's been around for these programs have been around for quite some time, and they will remain to be. Although we've found a new use with AI, I suppose, for that data, right? Many companies were hoarding terabytes and terabytes of data with no real understanding of what they needed it for, but with some sort of kind of thought that it may be useful at some point in the future. I mean, ultimately, it, it's only as trustworthy as the data that it learns from. What I mean by that is AI. If an organization invests in model governance, but they neglect data governance, they're not building on very solid foundations. Um, I mean, my first priority would be understanding what data we're collecting, where it comes from, who owns that data, and how it will be used. I mean, we have strong governance practices around IT data, but much less visibility in the OT space, um, which can include some sensitive operational processes and configurations and product information. So we really need to kind of understand what we're doing with that and what the end goal is. Unfortunately, it's still quite early days in comparison to our IT brethren. But yeah, it's all about building that reliable foundation from a data governance perspective, best practices essentially. That does translate very well, to be completely honest, from IT.
All right. Thanks, David. The next question is for Denrich. Now, while AI promises greater automation, human oversight remains essential in operational environments. There's a strong emphasis on human in the loop oversight, but in reality, operations are pushing for automation. How do you balance efficiency with safety accountability?
Well, I'm smiling because I come from a very strong process safety background. And you're right. In today's world, the reality is people are pushing for automation, they're pushing for efficiencies and data visibility. I want to see data everywhere, even in my house, right? So we definitely have that big push, no doubt. However, in critical, when you're talking about critical infrastructure, efficiency or automation can never come at an expense of safety. The guidance is very clear. Human must be accountable for safety critical decisions, while AI supports but not replaces operator judgment. This is a clear outcome of that particular report. Uh, also, we should allow AI. Having said that, we should use the power of AI. I'm not saying we shouldn't use it. So AI should be used for handling data, which AI is really good for. It can handle a humongous amount of data, and then it can give us very efficient results. For example, anomaly detection, predictive maintenance, some operational recommendations as well. If you have the right data set, like David just mentioned, if you have a strong data set which is validated, all that data governance and all that quality is in place, then yes, you could use that for recommendations also. Uh, However, keep safety instrumented uh, and trained operators for the final decision. My philosophy is simple: automate where the risk is acceptable, but always maintain a human in the loop where safety, environment, or asset integrity is involved. So, having said that, AI should increase operator capability, however, not replace very important engineering judgment or functional safety judgment. This is the key. Yeah, that's all from my side, Kevin.
All right. All right. Thanks, Denrich. Now, David, as more vendors begin embedding AI into industrial products, transparency becomes increasingly important. How should asset owners demand transparency from vendors, especially around hidden AI capabilities?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very prevalent question, and I believe, I mean, we're starting to see software bill of materials through cyber, on particular resiliency or regulatory kind of bills and regulation that's being drawn out now, particularly in the UK. I think ultimately at some point we will, in the very near future, we'll find an AI bill of materials requirement, or some sort of transparency statement that's included with or become just commonplace is what an SBOM or software bill of materials is now. So, I mean, ultimately, it comes back to trust. Vendors shouldn't can't, or can't just say you must trust our AI. They need to be able to demonstrate how it's built, how it's governed, how they secure it, how risks are managed. I mean, within the OT world, we're seeing more and more vendors now releasing AI products into the wild, into their customers. Great to be leveraged, but again, it falls back on the vendor to demonstrate how safe those are for their customers. If they can't provide that level of transparency, then like, organizations should question whether that technology is appropriate for their critical OT environments. I think C&I will definitely probably be the last to join or take use of that, given the criticality and the nature of it. So yeah, we need to look at a kind of SBOM model for that in the future. Tell you what's in that software on the AI, and organizations can utilize that information to decide how to make decisions on that through time. But yeah, I think it's a very good question, that, and very timely actually, because we're seeing things on you'll see things in the wild through some of the work that we do, and there's certain applications maybe that are running within OT environments, maybe knowingly or unknowingly, that have AI agents present in them. So yeah, it's certainly something that needs to be taken account of right pretty much straight away within the organizations that we're dealing with.
All right, thanks, David. And the next question is for you again, David. Before organizations deploy AI, it's equally important to determine whether AI is actually the right solution. Now, from your experience, where are organizations overusing AI where simpler logic or engineering would be more effective?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so. I've been present in some organizations where the question has been asked, where can we use AI? Where can we leverage AI? I mean, I'm not entirely sure that's maybe the best deterministic approach to take. Where should we use AI? We should always try to understand the kind of problem that we're solving. What problem are we trying to solve? Why is AI the best solution there? And then how do we actually measure if that solution is actually better than the alternative? I think that those are pretty critical. I mean, as Denrich said, the AI is incredibly powerful, and it's but not every challenge requires machine learning or large language models. And I mean, in an OT environment, the logic, well-defined rules, analysis, etc. It's much easier to validate and much easier to maintain than the kind of Wild West within the IT world. But certainly, yeah, where we don't think, I mean, if we look as an example, perhaps if we are if I try to use an example, probably that would be quite good actually. If we are monitoring where, from an operational perspective, where a temperature exceeds a threshold, we don't necessarily need AI to say, look, this is something that's wrong. What we need is a well-engineered control system to do that for us. So yeah, it's understanding what problem we're trying to solve. Why is AI the best solution? And Denrich has already kind of alluded to what it's good at, moving large data and kind of parsing that and getting to the bottom of that quickly. But we always need that human in the loop as well. So does it make sense to have both? Sometimes not. Sometimes yes. Yeah, understand what you need it for rather than try to shoehorn AI into your operations. I think is probably the key takeaway there.
All right. Thanks, David. Now, Denrich, AI has the potential to deliver value across multiple layers of industrial operations, but not every level offers the same opportunity. Where do you see the sweet spot for AI adoption across the Purdue model, from predictive maintenance at level 3 to LLMs at enterprise levels?
Before I start the question, it's an interesting question. AI is evolving. We all have to remember AI, people are still adopting, people are still understanding, and AI technology itself is evolving. So bring it to the OT environment, which traditionally is a conservative environment. We take time to adopt. So we have to keep that in mind. So having kept the background and also the background of how conservative we are in the OT environment or OT domain, I believe the sweet spot for AI at the Purdue level, and it's also coming out of the report because I want to also point out to the very well written NSA report is level 2, level 3, and level 4, which is more on the enterprise side. Uh, However, as I mentioned before, it will always remaining as a supporting function and not as a controlling function. Um, where we could use it effectively, again, I will have to repeat few of the things. Definitely predictive maintenance, anomaly detection, quality monitoring, and also in some places, maybe in the level 3, where there is certain operator decisions, you could have AI there supporting him in certain process decision making process using historical or SCADA data. Jumping to LLM models are better suited for enterprise functions like reporting, documentation, and workflow optimization. Where I would typically not touch AI or go to that route is where the level 0, where your sensors typically are, or even in on the PLC, the controller sides, where typically on level 1, in some cases, of course, level 2, your PLCs would reside. I wouldn't, touch those areas today. Yeah, so AI in my mind is very good where you are analyzing data, you're kind of predicting data and recommending, wherein the recommendation would go to an operator, and then the decision is made by somebody, a person or a protective system or a safety instrumented system. That is where I think I would tend to be today, very strongly. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Darich. Now, David, like any technology, AI can fail, and organizations need to be prepared. What does an AI failure incident look like in OT, and are organizations truly ready to respond to one?
Yeah, I mean, this is I mean, to be honest, this is something that I've. It's a great question because I've not really seen anything posted or posed or around this. I mean, I think many organisations now, particularly from an OT perspective, have matured over the last 5 years. Many are much better prepared for equipment failures or cyber attacks than they were just a few years ago. Whether that's driven through regulatory requirements or just business need around to secure availability and uptime of production, etc. Um, but far few and probably very little are actually prepared for any AI behaving kind of unexpectedly, let's say. I think I mentioned in the first question that every AI system should have a well rehearsed safe mode, so a way to detect the problem with the AI itself, disengage that AI, but then to also continue operating safely. I think that's you need to be able to remove that and still continue. You should What it shouldn't do is you shouldn't just have to detect the problem, disengage AI, and then everything stops anyway, because ultimately that's no good for anybody. Um, I mean, yeah, I mean, ultimately, we should be thinking organizations shouldn't just ask what happens if the AI is attacked. They should also ask what happens if it's wrong. So we need to look at our incident response plans and our playbooks and how to be ready for that. So what we'll probably see is more businesses, organizations, etc., kind of exercising this. The more connected it becomes within their environments. Again, understanding with the previous question where that AI exists, where you may not already know via some sort of AI bill of material or a vendor kind of software bill of material, etc., then you can then build in those exercises into your uh, annual kind of tabletop exercises or something like that. So yeah, essentially, yeah, it's very critical actually, and probably quite a timely thing to talk about in more detail. We could probably spend another 30 minutes just on that topic alone.
All
So,
right.
Kevin, I just want to add to what
Yeah.
David says. I agree, David, 200%. Nobody talked about this topic on incident response if there is an AI failure. Uh, Pretty much because, today as we sit in, AI is not deployed so extensively within the OTICS environment. However, having said that, looking future looking, I believe this would become a very relevant topic. And I think people should make sure, when they're deploying technologies, what is the risk behind that risk? And uh, obviously, you add more new technologies. Uh, and if AI, if it's connected, and I think it's connected, it will add cyber risk. My question would be, do you really require this technology? And what is the risk if you're putting this technology? And once you evaluate the risk, then you should deploy. And this is kind of answering back or resonating with what David said before. Do you really require? If you require, what is the risk? And then you deploy this technology. Yeah, that's what I wanted to just highlight here.
All right. Thank you for that. Now, David, looking ahead, many organizations are discussing autonomous cybersecurity capabilities. Now, AI can move us toward autonomous response in cybersecurity. In OT, is that realistic or, in your opinion, dangerously premature?
Good question.
Um, yeah, I mean, I don't think the question is whether IT can respond autonomously. I think we know that AI could respond autonomously. It's the real question is whether any organization can trust that response. In IT, we've become more comfortable with AI automatically blocking phishing emails, quarantining endpoints, isolating compromised devices, etc. Because the consequences of a false positive are often kind of they're manageable 9, 10, or a lot of the time. NOT stake, as we all know, the stakes are much higher. An automated action could interrupt a production process, affect critical infrastructure, or in worst case, create some sort of a safety risk or safety incident. So, I mean, I don't think we're certainly at the point where AI should be making any high consequence operational decisions without any oversight. Again, it could be making or helping informed decisions by presenting more information to that human in the loop to ensure that they've got all the contextual information that they need. That can certainly benefit and maybe speed up the process of decision making as well, because ultimately we know we can't make those automated decisions. So time is money. So making those decisions quickly, there is definitely some benefit to that and doing that safely as well. I mean, AI, where do I see kind of being kind of autonomous, let's say. I mean, AI can continuously monitor networks, correlate events across multiple systems, identify anomalies, as Denrich has said, that humans might miss. It can do all that very quickly. It can prioritize these alerts. I mean, many of the tools out there do this already, and then it can recommend response actions off the back of that. So certainly, vendors and OEMs will certainly be looking to utilize these functions in one way or another. So yeah, depending on what we mean by autonomous response, I would say that certainly progressive autonomy in that kind of correlation and prioritization and recommendation stages, yes. But automated responses in terms of isolating devices, etc. No, I think we're still quite some time away from that for a number of reasons.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, before we wrap up, I'd like to leave our audience with one practical takeaway from each of you. If you had to give one piece of advice to a CISO or plant manager starting their AI journey in OT, what would it be?
Mhm.
Uh, David, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I'll go first this time. Um, I'd say it start with the problem. Don't work back from AI. Don't kind of not the technology. Start with the problem that you're trying to solve. And rightly so. There's a huge amount of excitement around AI and the kind of the fulcrum or the force multiplier that it can become within the organization. But organizations that are seeing, from my experience, and okay, I'm talking from maybe an IT perspective here, they're not asking where can we use AI. They're asking, okay, what is the operational problem that we're actually trying to solve here, and is AI actually the best way to do this? Um, I'd say be ambitious with the opportunities to use it, but remain disciplined. Kind of how you adopt them. Don't just kind of blindly roll it out across parts of your business without really trying to build the trust, deliver value, and ensure that those AI agents kind of strengthen the OTM environment rather than introduce unnecessary risk, let's say. Yeah, I think that's kind of my advice.
Thank you, David. From my point of view, uh, AI is a technology, and we should understand AI is a technology. For the CISOs, the first step is build your OT ICS cybersecurity foundation, have a great visibility, remote access, all the good stuff, controls what you need. AI as an enabling technology is fantastic. I've seen certain softwares which is processing not only uh, anomaly data, but also or the CDS files or even process data. Even it's taking process data, it's taking your PIN IDs, and once it's trained to a certain level, it can give you excellent result. However, when you're introducing AI, always introduce it with what is the risk. Maybe, which level it is in your product model, how it is connected, and then evaluate the risk also. Use simple words, use the power of AI because it's going to help you be more efficient. It might also, if it's trained well, support some blind spot, which is really going to help you, which we humans can see. However, go with caution and always kind of do a risk assessment before deploying AI into, which layer of your environment you're bringing. So yeah, I'm positive, but with a caution, I would say, Kevin.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think actually I would. Yeah, I just realized maybe I could have elaborated a bit better with something there I said as well is, and you just almost said exactly what I was thinking, and then which is don't rush to become an AI enabled organization. Um, First become a better organization, and then
Yes.
use AI where it genuinely makes you a better, even better organization. Again, is that force multiplier? Do the do the do the do the do the do the easy things well, do them right, and then look where to leverage AI. I think yeah, that's a great point, Denrich.
Thanks, David. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Dan, Rich, and David, for sharing your expertise and perspectives today. AI is undoubtedly shaping the future of industrial operations, but as we're discuss, you know, in depth today, successful adoption requires balancing innovation with safety, governance, cybersecurity, and operational resilience. And I hope today's discussion has provided valuable insights and practical guidance for organizations beginning or continuing their AI journey in OT. Now, on behalf of Arista Cyber and Shieldworkz, thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time and we look forward to seeing you at one of our future webinars. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.